Hey everybody, we are going to be covering the lesson 3 notes of unit 3. And this lesson is broken up into 2 parts. And in this video, we're just going to cover part 1. Now, you guys are familiar with slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b. You may or may not be familiar with another way of writing linear equations, which we call standard form. And all of these equations on this page, on page 9, are written in what we call standard form. Standard form means that the x and y are on both sides, are on the same side, and there are no fractions. There are no fractions in the equation at all. So standard form looks like this. Ax plus by equals c, and there are no fractions. So how do I rewrite these equations in slope-intercept form? So I have to solve for y. So to do that, we are going to add or subtract the x term. So I want to move this x term over to the other side. I want to get y all by itself. And then I'm going to divide by the number in front of y. Divide by the number in front of y. Okay, so let's try an example here. So I have 3x minus 2y equals negative 16. So step 1 is to add or subtract the x term. So I have 3x here. I want 0 x's. So I am going to subtract 3x. And if I subtract 3x here, I have to subtract 3x over here. So that goes away. And make sure that you keep that negative with the y. So we have negative 2y. Now, these are not like terms. We cannot combine them together. This doesn't become negative 19x. This doesn't become 13x. They have to stay as separate terms. They have to stay as separate terms. So that was the first step. We subtracted the x term. Second step is to divide by the number in front of y. So I have negative 2y. To get y alone, I'm going to divide everything by negative 2. That one's out. That's just 1, so I have y. Now, I can't do 3 divided by 2 evenly. However, a negative divided by a negative equals a positive. So I can actually write this as positive 3 over 2 x. And again, negative divided by negative is a positive, but this does divide evenly. 16 divided by 2 is 8. And there's our slope-intercept form. Y equals 3/2 x plus 8. And you should always write your slope as a fraction. Don't write it as a decimal. Do not write your slope as a decimal. And the reason is that we want to be able to use that fraction as our rise over run when we graph it. All right, let's give number 2 a try. Same thing. Add or subtract the x term. So I have 13x. I'm going to subtract 13x from both sides. That zeroes out. I'm left with negative 11y. Again, these are not like terms. Divide by the number in front of y. Divide everything by negative 11. That one's out, so I have y equals, I can't do 13 divided by 11 evenly, but I do have a negative over a negative, which really means it's positive. Same thing with 12 over 11. So I'm just going to leave it as 12 over 11. That would be slope-intercept form. All right, number 3. Again, I'm going to move the x term over. So to get rid of 9x, I'm going to subtract 9x from both sides. That zeroes out. I'm left with negative 7y. These do not combine. I'm going to leave them as separate terms. Then I'm going to divide everything by negative 7. That's 1. Negative over a negative means I have positive 9/7 x. Negative 7 divided by negative 7 is positive 1. All right. Number 4, I'm going to move the x term over. I'm going to subtract x from both sides. That goes away. I have negative 3y equals negative x plus 6. Divide everything by negative 3. That one's out. And you have to think of this as a 1 here. So this is 1/3 x, not 3x. Not 3x. 6 divided by negative 3 is negative 2. All right. The rest are for you to do on your own after we are done going through the other side of the notes. So go ahead and flip to page 10. Now we are going the opposite way. If you look at all these equations, they are in slope-intercept form, and we want to move them to standard form. So remember, standard form has x and y on the same side and no fractions. So we're going to make it that way. So step 1 is to clear fractions, if there are any. Step 2 is to move the x term over to the left. All right, so number 1, y equals negative 11/10 x minus 1. Hopefully you guys are getting the hang of clearing out fractions. Since the denominator of this fraction is 10, I'm going to go through and multiply everything by 10. Y times 10 is 10y. When I do negative 11/10 times 10, I'm left with a negative 11x. Negative 1 times 10 is minus 10. Now, I want to get it so the x term is on this side. So I'm going to zero this out. Since it's a negative 11x, I'm going to add 11x. That goes away. I'm going to have 11x plus 10y equals negative 10. All right, number 2. Hey, no fractions here. We like that. All I have to do now is move the x term over. So I want to get rid of this minus 2x over here, so I'm going to add 2x. And that gives me 2x plus y equals negative 9. And we always put the x first. It's just kind of the way we write it. Okay. Number 3. Step 1, clear the fractions. So they both have a denominator of 5, which means I'm going to multiply everything by 5. So that gives me 5y. If I multiply that by 5, I get negative 7x. If I multiply this by 5, I get minus 1. Then I need to move the x term over. So I'm going to add 7x. Oh, I guess that's my final answer. 7x plus 5y equals negative 1. All right, one more together. Clear that fraction. We're going to multiply everything by 3. That gives me 3y, negative 4x, and 6. Then we're going to add 4x to both sides to move it over. So we have 4x plus 3y equals 6. Okay, so that's it for the examples. Your job is to finish up numbers 5 through 8 here on page 10 and numbers 5 through 8 on page 9. So when you upload pictures of these two pages, they should be 100% complete all the way through 1 through 8 on both sides. That's it. Hope you had a great winter break, and we'll see you very soon.